Blessed love, blessed evening. Do give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, of course, Kadamawe Haile Selassie the First. It is a joy, the shock of the hour is now with us, an extremely grievous thing, isn't it? And of course, the Honorable Priest Isaac here, just giving thanks, for your presence with us on a wonderful evening again. And this evening's program, I'm going to be basically asking a question. I would like to know what you think. This is why even for all those who are, tuned in live to the shock of the hour, and of course for our subscribers, I could promise you that you will be seeing this broadcast on the YouTube very soon, because I would like to know what the people think of the recent situation that took place just a few days ago from this day. And let's just give some clarity. Today being the 15th. Today being the 15th of the month of April 2019, according to the Gregorian calendar. And it was Thursday the 4th. When was the 4th? Not the 4th. Thursday the 11th. The 11th of this month, April. The 11th of this month, April 2019. The Vatican City. The Vatican City. Headline news, man. Pope Francis kiss the feet of the Sudanese leaders after 2.5 day retreat. The Pope of Rome, the Vatican, and even coordinating with the Archbishop of Canterbury. Some serious business going on here. And the Pope came and kissed the feet of the Sudanese leaders. And not just the Sudanese leaders, but South Sudan. Because South Sudan is the newest nation in Africa, as they call it. I think maybe in the world. I mean, Sudan is one of the oldest established countries in the world, man. Sudan was also the name of Africa, If I'm clear, it's Al Sudan, the land of the blacks. This is very key, because I'm asking what you think, but man, maybe every vision hasn't come to me, but I have a good understanding of what's taking place here. Listen, I have a video on the YouTube, the origin of civilization, because I know some of us, and no disrespect to even those who may have just discovered our videos, I know the feeling. Believe me. We like to see new things. I know the feeling. Sometimes we come across a video and we look to see when it was posted up. Oh, that post up last year. That's some older. That's just us. That kind of vibes in us that like new stuff and a little gossip and what's going on new. We like to hear something that's talking about what happened yesterday. But I have a documentary, if you want to call it that, or one of our Mystic Vibration episodes on the YouTube. It's not a shock of the hour, but it's on the YouTube, the origin of civilization. And in that, we gave a good breakdown for those, especially an individual who's just coming into knowledge and, trying to find the origin of civilization. That's a good episode for you to check out right there on the YouTube. And I break down the origin of writing, and the oldest known writings, the oldest known carvings in the caves from South Africa, the oldest known calendars like the Notre and the Adam's calendar. And we went into the ancient kingdom of Nyam, or kingdom of Yam, and the ancient Tar Seti. And what we did, we showed you even the paintings and the reliefs on the walls where you see the black people from Sudan. Sudan was well known for the blackest of the black Nubian people. And when you watch, because I watched it, when you watch the retreat, or the end of the retreat, little conference that they were having there in the Vatican with the Pope of Rome, Pope Francis, and the Sudanese leaders, the brothers and sisters from the Sudan, black people, real black people, I know some people like to say nobody's really black and nobody's really white. Well, I definitely disagree with that. Because I've seen people. I've seen at least 3 people that I can remember that these were white people. I know the argument of pink people and it's not really white, they are pale and all of that. I understand that. But I have seen people, at least 3 of them, and they were the color white. And I've seen people, much more than 3, and they are the color black. People consider me, well, dark if you want to say that. I don't mean like me. I mean the color black. And even some of these individuals in the room here with the Pope of Rome and his fellas there, you know, black people. So Sudan, this land, Sudan, the southern, and here it is now, South Sudan, is known for the black elements, the black people, blue black people, purple black people, the kingdom of Yam, the origin of writing, even pre-dynastic Kemet as such, or before dynastic Kemet then. So this is pre-dynastic history I'm giving you with the oldest writings. Okay. The blackest people. So we have some bishops here. I noticed the Pope didn't kiss the bishop's feet from what I saw. And you could see the whole conference on the Vatican News English. And what you will see is that he goes and he kisses the feet of the leaders. Now, let me just read something for you here quickly. And then let me just remind you also, while I'm looking for this, the Cosmic Series, the Cosmic Series. How many of us have already contacted the Honorable Priest Isaac to get the copy of the Cosmic Series? Yes, at the recording of this, we are, you know, putting the last touches, I would say, upon it. But I wouldn't advise you to wait. You know, now is the time. At least when you contact me, you could know for sure that you'll get it right away as soon as it comes out of the oven. So for sure, my good brothers and series, the Cosmic brothers and series, my brothers and sisters, the Cosmic Series, the heavens declare the glory. Psalms 19 speaks of that. So it's astronomy meets theology. 4 episodes giving you deep academic knowledge, spiritual and theological comprehension as it relates to what? The astronomical clock, the movements of the heavens. And I must say that it has been designed for even you and your whole family, your young children, to sit and watch. You know, it is not a full-length documentary, for example, like The Night of the Black Tiger and the documentary known as 7, or even The Master of Ceremonies. You know, I just want to be clear, these are the full-length documentaries. You know, it's not a radio program with pictures put to it. It is a video lecture. This is what we are giving to you, a video lecture series, in fact, to be more clear, and that is the Cosmic Series, the heavens declare the glory. So you will see for yourself exactly how the sun really operates, why it actually moves from one constellation to another. Because in the book of Enoch, when Enoch speaks about the sun going through the houses, it's speaking about the houses, the constellation. When you hear the Christ, even of the Pisces age, say to his disciples, when the man, you see the man with the water pitcher going into the house, follow him. That's the next age, which is the Aquarius age. But that's kindergarten. We can just say that because we heard somebody else say it. But do you understand it? Can we put mathematics to this? Can we really even relate to the chemistry and the makeup of these same stars and put it in perspective to theology? That is what we have done with the cosmic series. I mean, when you absorb the cosmic series, to be very honest, there is nothing nobody can say. You know, I get into the Pope now, you know, but you know, sometimes I scratch my head, you know what I mean? And I don't want to highlight Hebrew Israelites. No, let me not, because it may seem as if it's not that at all. It's just people in general. When I hear people that I know have heard my theory, and people speak with the concept as if Israel is Palestine, even if they don't say it, it goes in connection to what springs off of that concept. And I sit and I listen. And I say, look at this. Ones act as if I'm not even in the room. And this is why many times some of the offshoot subjects, I hardly pay attention to it. And some people, you know, dig you as if you got to say something about that. Why should I? I've touched that many times. Someone should say something about the true biblical land of Israel. And I listen to them all, and they all talk, and everybody go around the white elephant in the room as if the white elephant not there. I am telling you. But even since I mentioned that, hey, make sure you also get a copy of the true biblical land of Israel. That should be a bestseller by now, because there ain't nobody at all that is refuting that. No one. And even though I said, you know, I said that I'm going to stop saying this, you know, but the energy keeps pricking me to say it again, because nobody step up. So the fact that no one step up, I mean, I'm not saying that my words are the most, you know, reached words in the world, as if when I speak the whole world listen. No, but I know enough people listen that someone of you know, let me say you too, because you're listening. No disrespect to even those who may agree with the concept, but there are those who disagree. And if you don't disagree, you know that your Palestine being Israel concept cannot really be the truth. But maybe for one reason or the other, pride is swallowing you, and you can't say, well, listen, man, what the brother's saying is true, you know. The real land of Israel is from the river Euphrates to the Atlantic Ocean, and that includes all of Africa. We got to consider how Israel really relates to the Africans in perspective of the Bible. If you are a Bible believer, and this is a clause I've always added to this concept, if you are a Bible believer, it doesn't make sense you come to me and say, hey, oh, Israel never existed, hey, you know who really write the Bible, and hey, that's never the discussion. You can't trip me up with that. We can talk about that, but that's not what I'm talking about here. As I always say, and those who know me know exactly what I'm going to say next. It could be Mother Goose who wrote the Bible. That's not my point. My point is, according to the Bible, doesn't matter who wrote it, according to the Bible, the land of Israel is Africa. That's it. And the true Israelites are the Africans. All of them. That's it. If you don't agree, ain't no problem. You have to agree on everything. Yeah. But I've challenged anyone who disagrees to refute me. And all I hear is crickets in the night. No problem. I don't have a problem. But then all the generals and all the captains and all the doctors and the rabbis, the imams, the pastors and the priests will still go on the pulpit, still go on their radio programs, still go on stage, and still go on in front of the camera and speak. They speak as if this theory is not even known at all. Wow. And then we say no cowards. Can you believe that? And then we say no cowards. So anyway, that was just an extensive plug for the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. And to me, that's the undisputed champion, and it should have already been a bestseller. Yeah, the fact that nobody can dispute it, some even afraid to get it. They already get a preview for my word, so they're afraid to read it, because there's more inside of that than what I've ever said. Get yourself a copy, and you know exactly what to do. You email priestisaac27@gmail.com. Yeah, everyone should have a copy. To me, just the kind of stance that this book has taken, that not a human being, man, not even one, nobody at all, no one, you got to be kidding. And yet still there is no, I'm going to hear this now, there is no concrete concept that takes in consideration my theory. Rastafari don't believe my theory. Which ones? You all still speak the same old, and Jerusalem and Solomon Temple. And some of you who can't find Solomon Temple, I'll be trying to show you. Why that is so, and you're still not taking me on. So not even Rastafari. I challenge everybody, you know, this is not a Rasta challenging Muslim, no, this is me challenging anybody. Bobo Shanti too, because you don't follow I'm not afraid to say. And that has a lot to do with pride. Straight up, I say Israel is not Palestine. Come on, be a man, or even a woman. Say it out your mouth. Say Israel is not Palestine, and Priest Isaac's theory is correct. But you would never say it. Well, challenge me now. If not, don't even ask me nothing about nothing else. Don't make no comment. Don't tell me, oh, this is that and the earth is flat. Hush. You know, yeah, we weak. We weak. You think if anybody say that this is Haile Selassie and man must challenge them, I would be first. I mean, I hear some this here and there, you know, but I ain't no little boy. I don't have no time to play. But if somebody really serious, real serious, and they're ready to go as it relates to the King of Kings, it's just true. I don't like play with the King of Kings, you know. I have the King of Kings, you know, swing back and forth with nobody. You know. But if anybody feel they're Goliath, I would be first to take off Saul's arm and get my pebbles. Trust me. First. Right. So come on, man. Stand your grounds, brother. Yeah. 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 That was not a part of the script, really. 82-year-old Pope kisses feet of leaders for peace. Leave them stunned. This one is coming out of NDTV, and it reads here, the leaders appeared to be stunned as the Pope was helped by aides as he knelt with difficulty to kiss the shoes of the two main opposing leaders. Okay, now I'm sure some of you have already seen, you know, the video. It has been making its rounds on social media. It just took place a few days ago, at least to the recording of this. And, you know, the Pope came in and he gave his little speech. And then he got up and he mystically, you know, the way that he did it, you know, because from left, at least from left to right, from our point of view, if you were to see the picture from left to right, you had I think she is the deputy opposition leader, one sister, black beautiful sister, and I think it's three other brothers. And the Pope passed her. he kissed the feet of the brothers first, then he shook their hands coming down the line, and then came to the woman. Oh, when he kissed her feet, she put her hand over her mouth, like she was like, oh, no, no, no. And she definitely was stunned. I think she broke down in tears. It continues to say, Pope Francis, in a dramatic gesture, after an unprecedented retreat at the Vatican, knelt to kiss the feet of South Sudan's previously warring leaders on Thursday, as he urged them to not return to a civil war. He appealed to President Salva Kiir, his former deputy-turned-rebel leader, that's Riek Machar, and 3 other vice presidents to respect an amnesty they signed and commit to forming a unity government next month. I am asking you as a brother to stay in peace. I am asking you with my heart. Let us go forward. There will be many problems, but they will not overcome us. Resolve your problems, Francis said in his remarks. The leaders appeared to be stunned as the 82-year-old Pope, who suffers from chronic leg pain, was helped by aides as he knelt with difficulty to kiss the shoes of the 2 main opposing leaders and several other people in the room. Yeah. Now, what I would like to do as I said, I'm asking this question, and even for those that are listening via the airwaves, we will be uploading this to the YouTube as well, and I'm opening it to all those who will be listening and watching, even in the comment section. What do you think this means? Really, what's going on here? We know who the Pope is. I don't have to go into no detail. I think everybody knows that Vicaris Filii, which is the vicar of the Son of God, that's what it is, Vicaris Filii, which is really the official title of the Pope in its Latin rendition, is 666. And we could argue all day and night about protons, atoms, and electrons, and the carbon atom. I would agree, the 6 protons and the 6 electrons and the neutrons. Yes, it is 666. I don't think anyone can deny that. And we understand the importance of the carbon atom. I don't think anyone can deny that. But you see, there's a high balance with comprehending that, the number of the beast and the number of a man. Because many spiritualists will tell you the man state is the beast state. You could be the holiest man, but the man state, the state that you get hungry, and the state that you fall asleep and wake up, the state where you have urges, even if you're living up full, but you still have these urges you have to fight off. Many people consider that, especially when they look at things very esoterically, as the beast state. For those who go into the metaphysics and even in the occult, when you get into those realms, when you get into scriptures that talk about sacrificing the sheep and sacrificing lamb and sacrificing bullocks and these things, this is considered by many as you're sacrificing the beast nature on the altar. You're sacrificing that animalistic nature on the altar. They're not seeing it as you're killing no goat and throwing it on the altar. And you know that I personally, again, this is something I stand very strong on, even from the Bible, that the killing of the goat and the sheep that you would read in the scriptures is not so. It is not so. I'm not saying it was never done even by Israel, but in its initial stage that you read about in the Bible, that's all symbolic. And the Bible itself proves that. We have proven that. Several different programs, especially when we're talking about the chalice, because we have to break that down, and I know we have done that several times. So You know, not, you know, going over it over and over and over again, but just to let you know clearly that even in Jeremiah Jeremiah was told by the Most High, and never spoke to your fathers concerning the sacrifice of animals when I took them out of Egypt. I never, who is it that told you to do this? This was he asked them, you know, who is it that told you to do this? You know, and at the same time, as we said, when the laws of Moses was lost, and King Hezekiah and his people found it, after reading it in a language which they did understand, Hezekiah rent his clothes and said, who will come and explain to us what this book says? Remember, he read it, you know, it was read. They could read it like word for word, but yet still, obviously, there was something that needed to be explained in the book. So anyway, the point I'm making really is that many of us have lost that connection with the esoteric. We become extremely literal. And even if you could get a sense of literalism in the ancient texts, I'm not talking the Bible alone, in all of our texts, there is a higher level of metaphysics in these writings. And we will always lose when we forget that. You know? So I see that as being very, very important to understand that, you know. So that sacrifice of the beast and the sacrifice of the animal is the nature of man. And I'm just saying all of that, coming right around again to the original point, because ones would say that the number of the beast, according to Revelation, is 666, and 666 is the number of the man, and the carbon atom, not just that make up man, but really the carbon, basically matter in general comes back to the carbon. So in a sense, it's like a creation element. But the point is, the creation of man was on the 6th day as well. So it is still a science. When you comprehend, even when you round off the average height of a man, everybody knows is 6 feet. You understand? So the 6, people would say it's a devil number, but if the number 7 is the perfect number, you got to be 6 before you become 7. You know, it's a number, it's a stage. You know, it can't be no devil number, but yet still, it is considered that the combination of 666 is a way to identify the beast. And I can understand that whole science of being in this stage, what we call the three-dimensional stage, as that beastly stage. This is why, again, and I will purposely say occult, because this is the occult way of thinking. This is how people that delve in the occult will think, that what we call life, see, like when you come out of the womb, what we call life and you become alive, in the occult that is seen as death. And when you so-called die, that's when you come back to life. You know, and in reality, most people that are, you know, alive, let's put it that way, remember, we don't really know what's going to happen when we die, and we have no idea of where we were before we came here. So that is why the unknown has always scared many of us. You understand? But when you get a better comprehension, when you know that you've even been here already. Some people think they've been here already, and only because they're not living right, they keep coming back. That's one theory. I'm just showing it to you, because some of us, we need to open, of course, our mind and even accept different understandings and furnish it. So now you can look at life better. It's better that you know things, you know. So you make wiser decisions. Not because you learn something mean you have to accept it, you know. But there are those with that frame of mind, that anybody that come back is because they keep coming back to do it better and do it better. So they keep coming back to this beast stage, this third dimensional stage, this crystallized stage, this 6 atoms, 6 protons, 6 electrons, and the 6 neutron stage, the 666 B stage. You get it? Good. Now I can work with that. Not the, I don't, personally, I do not check for the concept of when you've perfected, you don't come back. I don't believe in that. That's for sure. But me, I see that we have been here before and we will continue to be here. And I understand. I'm speaking of myself now. I'm not just throwing out ideas. This is me talking. I clearly comprehend that science, that we are in a stage, we are radiating at a lower pace right now. We have a lower frequency than who we really are. We're supposed to radiate at a higher frequency. That's why even during the time of the fasting period, we actually put food away. The urge for hunger and all of these things. The urge for sexual intercourse and all of these things. They are natural things. Natural. But they are of the beast level. Now the term beast might somewhat bring a little injustice to what we're really saying. Because we know beast, when you hear the word beast, you think of some ravenous, some wolf or some animal coming to eat your beast. But in this terminology, it just means, the beast in this sense means the fleshly world. Again, the world that urges for things. Because the impression you're getting that when you're in a spiritual form, you are a bit more free. You know, and you're not confined to these connections of the world. So in the fleshly form, temptation can eat you up and rip you down. You know. And the simple thing again, like hunger and even sleep, is seen as a beastly tradition or beastly activity. So I hope I've given at least, you know, the seeking mind a good understanding of why some relate the 666 to just natural human beings. And even some of us who like to spit that out, we've never even thought of it on that level. And the reason why I brought it up is because when we say that the Pope of Rome is the Pope I'm talking about, you know, he may take a gun somewhere. Listen, I'm a teacher, I ain't a chatter. I want people to get what I'm saying good. When we speak of the Pope now of Rome, and we say that his title, the Vicar, has a numerical value of 666. In Latin, ones would jump up quick to say, no, 666 the mean that. 666 mean I is the number of the man, is Babylon them trying to fool you and make you feel that 666 is a devil number. Now you see, and to me, that is where I separate knowledge from understanding. Many people have knowledge of things and they don't understand what they know. Trust me. Many people have knowledge of things and they don't understand it. They're going quick to tell me, oh, it's not understand, it's overstand. Either you know or you don't know. No. The word no is negative. They just add a K and a W without any sound, and you take no and turn it into yes. You never think about that. You got to check the devil. I am saying to you that the Pope of Rome with his 666 is just what that scripture says. And he ain't talking about no atoms. We ain't talking about carbon. We ain't talking about protons, nor neutrons, nor electrons. I agree. I don't say I agree. Remember, this is me, you know. I've been trained to look on prophecies twofold, threefold, some of them sevenfold. One line would have 7 meanings. So yeah, I understand in this state, all of us who are angelic beings or angelic beings, in this 3-dimensional, compressed, crystallized state, yes, we naturally have to adapt to the ways of the lower form, which does come with a crystallized carbon atom that has 666 protons, neutrons, and electrons. You actually can't run from that. That's why in this state, you try your best to live spiritual. And sometimes getting to that spiritual state means you have to disconnect from the things of the natural, the so-called urges. But amongst the 666ers, there are those that are branded the real lowest of the lowest, the real dragons, the beasts them you start to call the name, the toads and the frogs, the real snakes in the grass, the louses, yeah, more than the atoms, brother. Their names, remember we did a program there, the presidents, and we highlight Ronald Reagan in them, and we went into that. In fact, you see, that's another thing. This has been done already. We did a program, The Presidents. For those who have never seen it, you should go and check it. You should go and check it. Because I want you to comprehend. And if I don't send you to watch it, I'm just going to say it over again. And that's not fair when you can just go and check it on the YouTube. The Presidents. And listen to that. And you'll see who all is running with the 666. And it means something. Some top devils too. So now you'd be surprised, although it sounds lengthy, just saying all of that would put some people's tongue to rest and make them listen. Because some people, they just chat and don't listen, you know. You have to explain it to them in detail. So when you say the Pope is 666, they stop the whole conversation because the carbon atom is 666 and the whole breaks and you never move no further than that. So we have to shake them up and let them know, hey, the professor speaking here. You're right, but you're wrong. Take your time. You know too much and understand too little. Many people like that. Too many of us. We need to humble. I may seem like I talk a lot because I gotta talk. I can't put on this and say, okay, I'm here. Yeah. Okay, boring. You see, I gotta talk. I gotta say something, you know, but I ain't no talker. I like to listen. Trust me. But I gotta talk here. So, Mr. 666 now is kissing the feet of the people from the kingdom of Cush. Mr. 666 is kissing the feet of the people from Sudan, the blackest set of people around, the people from the kingdom of Yam. And he kissed the feet of the woman last. And he kissed the feet of the brothers first. Then he shook their hand and then came back to the woman and then kissed her feet. This is something else, brother. This to me is something else. You may not see none of these leaders as, you know, some great hero or the Messiah or whatever, but that gesture, because remember these fellas have a lot of rituals too, eh? You never know what was done in the background first, and then come out and say the little speech, and then kiss the fella's feet. That's why you gotta be fortified when you come before these people here, you know. I want to just give you a little of what took place there in the Vatican Thursday. This is straight from Vatican News. And you're going to hear the commentator. It reminds me of when the emperor visited Pope Paul VI. You had the same cameras and everything. Let us listen to a little of this here.
Laudetur Jesus Christus.
Hear that?
Praise be Jesus Christ. This is Vatican News with our live commentary on the discourse of Pope Francis, which he will pronounce in just a few moments, at the conclusion of the spiritual retreat for spiritual and civil authorities from South Sudan. Welcome this afternoon. It's Thursday afternoon here in Rome. My name is Christopher Wells. I will be with you this afternoon as we hear the words of our Holy Father. The spiritual retreat that took place over the last 2 days here at the Casa Santa Marta in the Vatican was first initially organized by the Archbishop of Canterbury, the leader of the Anglican Communion, Archbishop Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, as we said. He led this retreat for civil and ecclesiastical authorities of South Sudan.
Listen.
After the retreat was approved by Pope Francis. Over the course of the past 2 days, we have had a number of speeches, although there hasn't been a great deal that has come out of the actual meeting itself. It is a time especially dedicated to reflection and prayer. In the words of the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, a time of grace dedicated to reflection and prayer to ask God for a future of peace and prosperity for the people of South Sudan. The Holy Father has just arrived in the meeting room and will be speaking here in just a few moments. The Holy Father is speaking in Italian, and I will be providing the translation of the Pope's remarks, which we have prepared for us. And here we have the initial greeting and welcome.
So this is the initial greeting and welcome now by one of ours.
The
kind of
religious and political leaders
by nature
of South Sudan. The presidency led by His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, and the Sudan Council of Churches led by Most Reverend Peter Guy. We are grateful for the grace we have received to be in your home over these last 2 days of retreat. It has been an unprecedented experience of grace of the Holy Spirit. 2.5 days of intense prayer, of deep reflection, and of open and frank dialogue and spiritual conversation. And this experience has been facilitated through the collaboration of His Grace, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Very Reverend Justin Welby, and his team from the Lambert Palace, including Bishop Precious Umuku, Bishop Anthony Pogo, Mata Jarvis, and Natalia Chen, working with the team of the Secretariat of State, led by Cardinal Pietro Parolin, and the rest of his team, including Archbishop Gallagher, Monsignor Hodich. And it has been a wonderful experience of retreat. The leaders leave here renewed and committed to the task of working for peace, striving for reconciliation, and seeking justice for the 13 million people, the South Sudanese, whose prayer and hope they all carry. And we look forward now to your words of exhortation.
All right, well, I ain't going to look forward too much. The Pope will talk for about 30 smack minutes there. We're not going to really go into that. As I said, you can visit. That was just to give you a good idea of exactly, give you a little feel of it and exactly what was taking place on Thursday. What the Pope can say that we want to hear.
To us, and for this reason will require from us much more. It will demand an account of our service and our administration, our efforts on behalf of peace and the well-being of the members of our communities, especially the marginalized and those most in need. In other words, he will ask us to render an account not only of our own lives, but the lives of others as well.
Okay, I guess he's talking about Jesus there. You know, Jesus is gonna ask them to render account. But I mean, you yourself could go and listen to the interview. I want you to hear the commentator.
I don't think
at the end now.
It's likely to have been seen.
This is at the end of it when he begins.
Now, Francis, we thank you all for joining us this afternoon for this important address of the Holy Father. The Holy Father now kneeling and kissing the feet of the leaders of South Sudan in a gesture of really remarkable humility, in a gesture which I don't think is likely to have been seen ever before, but literally kneeling on the ground before these South Sudanese leaders and kissing their feet, expressing his deep sentiments in the face of this, as he himself said, very unique spiritual meeting and gathering of civil leaders and this retreat for peace. Once again, we thank all of you for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, so, wow. As he's saying there, he doesn't think that this has ever been done. We don't think this has ever been seen. You know, we can't recall anything like this ever taking place. That the Pope of Rome would be kissing, you know, anybody's feet really, just be doing that. But I'm saying that the feet of the people that he kissed. You see, a lot of times we speak about the kingdom of Cush, and for those of us who take the time and study history, another thing, the names, just like today you have Sudan and South Sudan, and just a few years ago it was just Sudan. And Ethiopia, you know, the part that is known as Eritrea was part of Ethiopia. And Ethiopia was once even the same Sudan, and Sudan was once Africa. So sometimes you have to place things in a historical, you know, geographical, you know, perspective. Because now we're speaking about this now. We're talking about the Pope of Rome here actually kissing the feet, to me, of the leaders of the kingdom of Cush. Because Cush, you know, this historical Cush that we really speak about, it's Sudan, it's South Sudan plus, you know, northwestern Ethiopia as such. Although, you know, Ethiopia is Cush, because Cush is far, you know, Cush go all the way into India too, you know. That's why I have Cush and Kish, and, you know, even the Hindu Cush. This is a grand stretch. But this Cush that we like to, you know, be very romantic about, we're talking about the ancient Sudanese people. And here we have Mr. Vatican. You know, I don't think it's a case of the specific Pope or the specific individuals. I think it's a case of who the Pope represents, and I think it's a case of who the people represent. Because in reality, this act, this gesture is something that is really, well, unprecedented, if you want to say, something never really seen on that level. And I could imagine everybody, even maybe his own, was wondering like what kind of madness it is. To be honest, watching it is as if he kind of going crazy, like if he losing his mind, you know what I mean, his hat dropping off his head and all of that. You know, so he did whatever he think he had to do to make his point. And I think that his point was made. But I would like to hear, you know, because we ain't got the answers, all the answers. I would like to hear what you think. I would like to hear what you think the gesture was about. Do you think some witchcraft was worked before he came out and that was just the kiss of death to seal, you know, because peace they say they're talking about, you know, the scripture says when you think it's peace, then safety is all kind of other things they really want to come out of this, you know. So please tell me what you think. I mean, this is a pope that I think has been somewhat different. A living pope had to get out of the way for him to come in. A Jesuit pope. A pope that is telling you, you know what I mean, life, there could be life on other planets. A pope that is telling you all sorts of things that the regular Christians don't really check for. Interesting. And now he's bowing down to the blackest of the black and kissing their feet. It got to mean something more than even meets the eye. Did he get a vision? Oh, you know what I mean? Is he? And blessed love, once again, we just had to chime in there, you know. Do give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. This is just like somewhat of a special edition here. And so much special so that we're in a slightly different mode. If you hear the, you know, the children playing outside and, you know, just understand what is taking place at the moment. But of course, some of you, it's interesting, we just did the story there on the Pope. I'm sure some of you have come across this story, to be honest. I just picking it up now, of the burning of Notre Dame there in Paris. If you have not heard it, because it's basically breaking news as such. If you have not heard about the burning of this great cathedral in Paris, which is taking place even as we speak now, let me just give you a little of what is taking place here in
Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is gripped by a raging fire. One of the most treasured cathedrals in Western Europe is ablaze as we come to air.
Happening now. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening. The blaze in Notre Dame, as you can see, can be seen from all over Paris. It seems to have taken hold about an hour ago in the beams of the medieval cathedral, where €6 million worth of renovations were being undertaken. Now, the flames have already consumed the iconic spire, which dates from the 12th century and is one of the defining landmarks of the French Republic.
Wow.
So the fire in Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris seems to have taken hold in the cathedral's nave. It's reported there were extensive building works being carried out there.
Okay.
The beams in the nave appear to be the seat of the fire. There's no information yet as to what may actually have caused the fire. The area around the building has been cleared. Firefighters are tackling the blaze in what they have called a major operation.
Okay.
The mayor of Paris has called the strength of the fire terrible. Now, Matt Fry, tell us a bit more about the cathedral.
Actually,
So the fire began in the nave of the cathedral, they're saying here. Okay, Mac Fry is gonna say, because a friar is really somewhat like I think it's like a cardinal, like Friar Tucker and so Mac Fry. Anyway.
It's fascinating, John, because this cathedral was subject of an inquiry a couple of years ago into the deplorable state of the works inside this 850-year-old building. And basically, the mayor of Paris launched a campaign and said, we need 150 million euros to get this place up and running, because bits of the masonry were crumbling. Some of the famous stained glass windows, were threatening to fall apart. So this is not just a recent thing, actually. Even in 1831, Victor Hugo wrote a novel called Our Notre Dame, in which he talked about the deplorable state of this church. And by the way, lest we forget it, this is the cathedral. It's not just the seat of the Archbishop of Paris, it is also where Napoleon was crowned in 1804. It was also where Henry V of England was crowned in 14-something, well, I can't quite remember the exact date. But anyway, it's of huge historical importance.
Now, we're looking at the Lady Chapel end of the cathedral, the east end. You can see the spire there, which has the seat of the fire beneath it. Our reporter, Ed Hauker, has the latest.
As the sun dips beneath the Paris skyline, a second horrifying light blazes atop its most famous cathedral. Notre Dame took 2 centuries to build and has stood for more than 800 years. Tonight, it burns. In the past hour, these pictures show the cathedral's central spire La Flèche engulfed. The liturgical centre of the Archdiocese of Paris, the seat of the Archbishop, was being renovated, and at the moment little is known about the cause, though some have indicated that the fire could be linked to that renovation work. It is too soon for any formal response to this unquestionable national disaster.
Wow.
People have simply been cleared from the area by French officials, and as this programme went to air, La Flèche itself collapsed.
Well, as you can see, not only the nave, but actually the Lady Chapel roof now too, both are completely consumed in flames. This is a shattering development, absolutely terrifying. And for those who love French architecture, Gothic architecture, this is a truly iconic building, which is suffering the most terrible assault from these flames. Well, now, as we've been on the continuing fire, the blaze, the terrible blaze at Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, it seems to be still completely out of control. Just a few moments ago, the spire, the iconic spire of this cathedral, collapsed. It is a searing and terrible sight. And for the French Republic, for the people of France, this is utterly devastating. But in fact, for architectural history, for the great Gothic buildings of our time, this is one of the worst catastrophes to beset them.
And it's interesting, you know, I'm not going to really spend too long on that. I have already seen ones commenting on it on some different levels, really. But as they were saying there, at least from the time that I'm saying this now, they have not really discovered what may have caused the fire. It began in the nave. And let me just say a quick thing about this cathedral for those who may not know. Let me just give you some information. This is coming out to the, we have here the New York Times, the Cathedral of Notre Dame, where a large fire broke out on Monday evening, is among the most famous landmarks in Paris, drawing about 13 million visitors, it says here, a year. Okay. You want to read that here for me?
The cathedral, whose name means Our Lady, is the seat of the Archbishop of Paris.
Okay.
The cathedral was built on a small island called Il.
You speak French, eh?
I don't.
It looks like
Ile de la Cité.
Yes, yeah, you might even be more equipped on the French. Pardon me for giving you that too. But I mean, for those who are, you know, more equipped with the French, I think is Ile de la Cité or Châté. I'm not sure. In the middle of the, even that, in the middle of the Seine. Anyway, construction began.
Construction began in 1163 during the reign of King Louis the Seventh, was completed in 1345. It is considered a jewel of medieval Gothic architecture.
Okay, I give thanks to Honorable Princess Keisha Menin. It was damaged and neglected in the 1790s during the French Revolution. Victor Hugo's 1831 novel Notre Dame of Paris, published in English as The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm sure everyone will know that. Inform readers about the building's decrepit condition, as I think the brother was talking about there a moment ago. And everybody is the exact right word. The book helped spur significant overhauls from 1844 to 1864 when architects Jean-Baptiste, how you pronounce that?
Antoine Lathos.
And Eugene Emmanuel Voylet-le-Duc redid the spire and flying buttress of this Gothic building. What historical event took place there at Notre Dame?
Henry the
Six.
Henry VI of England was made King of France inside Notre Dame in 1431. Napoleon Bonaparte was also sought to save the storied cathedral, was crowned emperor there in 1804. In 1909, Joan of Arc, who had helped France battle the English and was burned at the stake centuries earlier, was beatified by the cathedral by Pope Pius X.
Okay, I think you were doing some studies on Joan of Arc some years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, I know that she was a hero of France.
Okay.
She was made the maid of Orleans.
Okay.
If my pronunciation was correct.
Right. And
yeah.
I see. Good.
And the English think that she was a witch because she was saving the French people.
Okay.
And she also claimed that, and I know that she also claimed that God helped her.
Okay. Well, as we see here, she was actually I think beatified in the cathedral by Pope Pius X. I don't know exactly. I don't know if that's when you become a saint. I think she's a saint specifically. So I think that's when she would have gotten that sainthood there at that time, if that's the right pronunciation or the right definition for that. I mean, we could look it up, man, but we ain't going to do that right now. Everybody have access. But the point is, yeah, this church is actually on fire as we speak, because I did hear about it a few hours ago on one of the radio programs here, one of the afternoon talk programs. Somebody called in and said, the Notre Dame in Paris is on fire. And now that I've just seen up my mystic, just going through the news, I see, yeah, it's a real thing. And interesting, we just sealed up a conversation dealing with the Pope. And to be honest, speaking about the Pope and all of that, I wasn't even thinking of this. And it's interesting the time that it's happening, because as Bobo Shanti now, our concept of the whole so-called Easter, now because you see Rome in the Easter and Good Friday and Lent, people think you're following them because, the Congress just rise in 1958. But this is a natural Congress, and the man that rise this Congress here is the natural man. So this is a thing that coming from before 1958 or before, as we say in Antigua, before time. We like to say that before time, people use the so and so, before time. We say it so simple and don't know. What kind of phrase is that, before time? I think they say it in Jamaica too, you see me? Before time. Before time, because we are people before time. So we have already broken down in that Lent thing that we did, number 1 Lent, clearly showing you there's a natural connection with even the Lent, as they call it, and nature. So it's not we following nobody, it's them picking on and jumping on our bandwagon and trying to follow up with us, So mystically now, I'm just saying that in the Bobo Shanti concept, the Friday is the resurrection, not the crucifixion, the resurrection. In fact, Tuesday is the crucifixion. And Wednesday they put the man in the tomb, because according to how the elders teach it, Yes, some deep heavens, according to how the elders teach it, is hang the Christ on a tree. And he didn't die. And because according to the law, when you hang a man and he don't die, you're supposed to let him go. But yet still, they still go and crucify him now, literally. Put him in the tomb the Wednesday. And he came out of the tomb the Friday. Now, however a man want to take that, well, it's up to them, because we're going to do a resurrection program that we intend to air Thursday night. We will touch upon all of that in a little more detail. But I'm just saying for now that it's interesting that that fire is kicking up now going into the Tuesday. Because, Easter, Good Friday, and the morning Thursday, and the Easter Sunday, that would have been a big shindig in them church there, or that church there specifically. In the next coming days, I guess a change of plan is definitely in order. That means it's not going to happen again. So a historical church on fire there is just a, maybe you want to call it a news flash. You're getting here from the tiger's nest. So we ain't going to stick too long on that, you know. Do give thanks on our princess for such work sound. And give thanks again to the congregation. Yeah, Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed Lord. Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com. or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah God. Alafia to each and every one. Salamta and blessed love. Honorable Priest Isaac here. It is with great joy that I am happy to announce to you that I have officially released my first ebook, Anu Ancient and Modern Revisited. This is the continuation process of our easy-to-read books. Within the pages of Anu Ancient and Modern Revisited, we take the time to show you the spiritual connection with the island of Antigua and Heliopolis in Kemet in Egypt, with the island of Antigua and the legendary continent of Atlantis. We also highlight Green Castle Hill, also known as Mount Anu, which is known as the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, with the countless of megaliths that align with the movement of the heavens. This is a must-read for all those who are students of the esoteric realms, astronomy, geology, and ancient sites. Of course, to get a copy of your book, all you have to do is to contact us at area code 1268-728-3162. Call, text, or even WhatsApp. Or you can email us at priestisaac27@gmail.com to get a copy of your ebook, Anu Ancient and Modern. It is an easy to read book, may appear light, but it is extremely heavy.